Hi there, my name is David K. Richards, and I'm located in Sacramento, California, and I'm super excited to talk about Paul Stennett and why I worked with him to build my podcast. So before I met Paul, I was working as a charter school leader for several years in an industry where I had never done really that many interviews. I hadn't really gone out and done videos and talked on a podcast or anything like that. So I was very new to this whole entire world, and I knew I wanted to find somebody who would take me from idea to launch, from start to finish. And that's exactly what Paul and Alex did. Basically, I had an idea. I knew intuitively that I wanted to start a podcast because I'm an intuitive leader. I'm a heart-centered leader. I work with parents, educators, entrepreneurs, and people that really want to hone in on their life's purpose and live in the flow of life. And whether you're a kid or an adult, everyone's looking to really figure out their passion and their purpose. And so that's my journey. And I wanted to share that with the world. I didn't want to go through the normal process where you try and build a business and build a coaching business. And I really felt like the podcast would be the way to go. So I immediately knew I wanted to work with Paul when I saw his video because I felt his energy, his passion, his heart, and his real belief in what he does. Like, you can tell he's a passionate entrepreneur, and that's really what mattered the most to me. And then it got better from there because he delivered on his promise. He took me from start to finish, the nuts and bolts of how do you use the technology, what microphone should I order, how do you sign on to Libsyn, how do you figure out, and then strategic questions like what will the podcast be about, how to plan out the episodes, exactly how you want to frame your episodes, how you want to tell stories, how you want to make it engaging, how you want to make it entertaining. Like, every single detail you can imagine, Paul and his team will take you through it seamlessly. And it was a really, really beautiful experience. And I got to the point where the podcast launched. He had to really help me through it because I had moments where I got really nervous. And I remember hearing somebody say, so I found Paul through Lewis Howes. And I remember somebody saying on a Lewis Howes podcast that this person couldn't even launch a podcast because for a year they couldn't come up with a name. So I was in that place like, what do I do? How do I get started? And sometimes we just need support. We just need somebody who's going to take us through the process. And so that's exactly what Paul did. So we launched the podcast. He helped me in every step of the way. He was available through Voxer. He was available whenever I had a question. And he took me through every single part of the process. I don't know what else to say other than to say, it's a no-brainer. So if you're looking for somebody to help you through the podcast process, this is the way to go. So Paul is the exact person to work with. And honestly, before I met him, I wasn't even sure what my business idea would be. And now I'm completely set with my business idea. And I got so many unintended benefits out of working with him. Not only did I launch a podcast, but I narrowed in on my perfect customer, the ideal listener. So many benefits. He's a real gem. And I highly recommend him. I look forward to seeing him help so many people start podcasts and being able to share our voices across so that we can create change in the world. And I really, really appreciate him, and thank you for listening.